Alright guys, so what did I do today? Kind of nothing besides drive the Pontiac for the first time in a while. Um I bought a shifter for it that I was going to try to install today, but things are never straightforward. If I go to this Hearst shifter, I have to mount a plate for the shifter versus where my B&M sits right now because the B&M is a lot wider. And this cable's a little different. The brackets underneath are pretty much almost the same, just slightly different, but you can make them work. Um, but if you go online, the transmission bracket and the cable bracket are almost identical between the B&M and the Hearst, and I believe one owns the other. A friend of mine told me, so pretty much identical. At this point, this shifter is actually really nice, super smooth. Well, I'm trying to hold it with my hand, but you guys can hear it. It's nice and smooth. So, yeah, that was kind of fucking stupid. But I greased this one up. I was going to install it, and then I'm like, you know what? Let's adjust the shifter because I haven't adjusted it since I kind of put it in. And I had it adjusted to what I had it set before, and I always thought that that's just kind of it. But now that I expect a little bit more out of the car with the gear and everything else, it always seemed like the 1 to 2 shift was just a little off. So I readjusted it, and the way you do it is you adjust your little linkage to the bracket that comes out of the shifter selector, and you put it in at first. You remove the cable out before you put in, obviously without your cotter pin, and then you make sure your bracket's all the way in first, and then you put it back in, okay, and then that's fine. So then you remove your cable out, and you bump the shifter in a second. You manually move that selector in a second. That cable should drop right into position in a second. Okay, remove the cable again. Now put the transmission in the third, or drive, and then put your shifter in the third or drive, and it should go right into the bracket. And then that's it. And then you check reverse and park, which for some reason, maybe somebody can answer this. I've never used a ratchet shifter. I've always used like the Pro Stick, whatever the fuck B&M wants to call it. I've always used one of those, and I like them. They're stupid, idiot proof. This one has a Pro ratchet I got from JJ, and it seems to work good, but I can't remember. He can't seem to recall if going from park to reverse is 2 bumps. On the sticker on the body, it takes 2 bumps to go from park to reverse, but it lands right on there. And then neutral's fine, 3, 2, and 1 is fine. I don't know if that's normal. I don't know if it's not. I really cannot. I've never had one of these, so I really don't know what to expect, and I can't find any info on it. But either way, I swung by the shop, and I got into it, and I shifted from 1 to 2. And with this setup, it seems like the sweet spot is about 4,500 with this gear and the weight of the car. It really, after 4,500, it really wants to labor to keep pulling the car. So either way, I think with this combination and everything, like that's probably going to be the good spot. I may fiddle with the Advance, and I'm going to try that 650 on here because off the line, this thing moves, but it should be a little peppier. So I'm going to play with the carburetor and the timing curve. And then another thing we have to add is I have to finally wire in my neutral safety switch with the switches in the shifter. And then I also have to put in a drive shaft safety loop, and I'm going to put exhaust cutouts on it. And those 3 or 4 things have to get done before we hit the track. And I'm thinking I'm probably going to hit the track with this sometime, possibly end of September. There's 2 BOP races this month, and I think I'm going to race the olds at the one BOP race, and then we're going to take this to the other BOP race and just maybe run this car in the street class and see how good it does. It's pretty good. I mean, but then in the same token, it's like, man, do I really want to break this fucking thing? But we have to get it down the track. I'm really curious how much faster this car would run, and it's nice to finally kind of revisit it and drive it and remember how fun it is to drive this car, because even though it's not the fastest, you know, it barely spins the tires. It will do a fucking nice brake stand burnout really quick. It doesn't even labor for it. But I think with this tire combination, the weight of the car and the engine might be making all of like 275, 280 horsepower for this tank. So it's kind of a big tire in the back, and it is a Nitto. It actually bites fairly well, but the car does scoot for what it is. And I think if we can get this car to run anywhere in the 14s, I think I would be fairly happy. It ran a 16. What did my wife run with it? Like a 16.2 with me riding shotgun. That was her best, cleanest pass. So you figure my fat ass, you remove me, it should have been a 16.0. And if she had shifted it, I think this car would have been a 15.9, 15.8 car, maybe. I think with the gear change, we removed some weight. We put better tires on it, a better gear. We went back to the carburetor. I think all in all, I think this car should be able to scrape a 14, and I think that would be pretty damn good. But I'm really curious to try that Proform 650 on there and see how much it really wakes up. See what it does. So, no real updates on the big block and the 64. You guys saw that video from the other day. And we're going to chip at that and hopefully get that to the track sometime in October. That's still a contingent plan. And, so I think the plan here is in the next week I really got to focus on the olds, get that ready for the BOP race, which is coming up week after this one. So it'll be the weekend after this weekend. And get that ready and just go over it, make sure everything's good, check my brakes lines, all that shit that I mentioned, check the valves, and and then from there, it gives us about a week to get a couple things done on this, like the exhaust and the drive shaft safety loop and, the neutral safety switch, that fun stuff, and maybe play with the carburetor and the timing and go from there. So, well, not much has been going on. There's really not a whole lot to work on in here, and I figure I'd fiddle with this today and kill a little bit of time, and that didn't take too long. So I'll let you guys go. Thanks to all the new subscribers. Share, like, obviously, subscribe if you haven't. Hit the like button. Man, if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's Copper Cutlass. I don't really do shit on Facebook besides antagonize people, I guess. So, I'll let you guys go.